Hi everyone, this is a quick unboxing and a review of the Fosi Audio T20 Bluetooth tube amplifier receiver. It's not a true tube amplifier. For £76 I don't think you'd be able to get a proper tube amplifier. What it does is it does a preamp, I believe, as far as I can tell. Looking around on the internet on other manufacturers of these types of amplifiers, there's a lot of disbelief that they're not doing what they say that they're supposed to be doing. I believe that's the case for most of them, but this one I believe is a tube preamp, where they then use a Texas Instruments TPA3116 to do the 50 watts per channel Class D amplification. They actually say that on their specifications. I've looked at some of the reviews. A lot of people seem to believe that this is a true valve amplifier. That is not the case. I've also purchased two GE Jan 5654W tubes that were made in 1986 in the States. They are supposed to be genuine. I ordered from a supplier in the UK called Watford Valves. They haven't arrived yet, but I'll give them a test. The valves they come with are 6J4, probably made in China. Let's have a look. We have a massive power brick, 24 volts at 4.5 amps. I believe this is rated correctly to deliver 50 watts per channel. UK figure 8 power cable, Bluetooth antenna. Happy, not happy? A user manual. The tubes themselves. So these are the 6J4. Can barely see the writing on them. There's the other one. And the amplifier itself. Straight away I can tell the build quality on this is very good. I think it's made from steel, not aluminium. The control has notches on it as you turn it. Nice feedback. These are just turn. I believe the 12 o'clock position is the 0 dB bass and treble setting. Got a headphone jack, and you got a power button, which I believe actually doesn't turn the amp off. I think it just bypasses the speakers. I'll have to check it out. I might open this up and actually check the wiring, see what's going on. There's the Bluetooth antenna, the RCA audio in, and the speaker outs, which are banana plug 5-way. And then you got your DC 12 to 24 volts. It does run at 12 volts, but obviously you don't get the same output. The 50 watts I believe is rated at 4 ohms per channel. So if you use 8 ohm speakers, you're probably going to get about 25 watts per channel, which should be loud enough for this type of amplifier. I've got these T-Bo Harmony 2 speakers, which are between 4 and 8 ohms. I believe they're 6 ohms. So let's see how it drives them. I've also got Polk S50Es that are higher sensitivity at 89 dB. The T-Bos are 86 dB, so not very efficient. So I'll just get this set up. I'll be using these banana plugs and this RCA to 3.5mm socket and a 3.5mm cable. And I'll also check the Bluetooth connectivity. Okay, it's all connected up. The power switch in the front only turns off the tubes, doesn't actually turn off the Class D amplifier, so it is on, getting hot. Here are all the connections around the back. Just under the Bluetooth antenna there is a little micro switch there. It's for switching between Bluetooth and RCA inputs, so you do have to manually switch it over. Let's put the microphone in front and place some non-copyrighted music. Okay, I managed to open the amplifier. It was quite easy in the end. So you don't unscrew the 4 screws in the front. You just remove the tone control and the volume control knobs. Underneath them you have these half nuts. Just unscrew them. And on the back it's just the 4 screws, 4 black screws. You just remove them and it just pops out. Literally just slides out. Also the General Electric GEJAN 5654, I believe they're NOS, that's what it says on the website, have come in. These are shorter, same diameter as the 6J4s. They do glow a bit more orange, you can see the heating element in there. To me it does sound better, sounds more tubey, if that's the right word. Yeah, they're only £7 each. Let's pop this back in. Okay, tubes back in. So I've been checking out this circuit and just looking at it straight away, I can tell they're taking this seriously. There's a lot of components here. These two chips here are the NE5532P dual node low noise signal high speed op amp. So I believe it's part of the EQ circuit. There's There is another NE5532P here, so that could be processing of the input or pre-processing it from the RCAs. It is feeding the sound into the tubes, which is giving it the tube sound. So it's probably buffering. I can't tell because it's a double-sided PCB with a lot of components. I can verify that the tubes are running at 105 volts, which means it's not for show. They are applying 105 volts to the plate and the screen, which is grid number 2, pins 5 and 6. So all the capacitors are Rubicon capacitors. I think there's a Nichicon as well. Yep, for the power filtering, but all the other capacitors are Nichicon. The Rubicon, they're rated at 105 degrees because this does get warm, so that's good. There's the Bluetooth chip, and underneath the heatsink is the Texas Instrument Class D amplifier. It looks to be surface mount, judging by the height. So these two capacitors here are rated at 250 volts. I've measured them, it's 105 volts. I'll measure them again. And there's another one here. I can't follow the trace, so I can't see where that goes. That's also rated at 205 volts. I'm not sure what circuit is using, is doing the DC to DC voltage stepping. I'm not sure, I haven't checked all the chips. So let's have a look around the back. So this pin and this pin is a negative, the capacitor, that's rated at 250 volts. This is the positive and this is the positive. As you can see, it goes into pin 6, which is the screen, and the other one, I've checked in the trace on the other side, goes into pin 5, which is plate. So I believe it's mirrored on the other side. It's very difficult to trace because of the amount of components. You can't see it. But yeah, it is, the tubes are getting about 100 volts, 105 volts. It's just slightly below the GE-JAN normal operating range of 120 volts. Not sure what effect that has. According to the documentation, it just says normal operation is 120. Anything below that means you might get, I don't know, it doesn't really say, maybe instability or not quite the same output signal. Or maybe it's intentional to get that harmonic distortion that is supposed to be in these tube amplifiers. Let's connect up the power. Measure the voltage. Let me just make a mental note. Right, negatives are on the inside. Plug it in. Okay, so it's turned on. Right, so negative terminal, positive terminal. It's about 100 volts. Measured at 105 without any load. So there you go. It is actually using the tubes, unlike some of the other cheaper or even cheaper preamps have tubes in them, look like they're for show, or they're passing the sound signal through the heating element. I'm not sure if that's the case, but I've seen some of them without the high voltage capacitors, which makes no sense. The tubes do need quite a lot of DC or AC current to run depending on the type of tube. So I'm just going to put this back together and hopefully it all works still. I've now been testing this Fosi Audio T20 tube amplifier for a few hours now. I have to say, for £76, this actually is pretty amazing. Yes, it's a Class D amplifier for the actual amplification, but the tubes I believe are doing the preamp, which means you still get that tube sound. My GE tubes still haven't arrived. I've done some sound comparisons and with the Denon connected to the same types of speakers. I have to say this does actually hold up really well. Yes, the Denon has more features and has a EQ. This just has bass and treble controls. It sounds good for what it's worth. Just few features I'm not too happy with. The power button doesn't actually turn off the amplifier. It leaves the Class D on, turns off the Bluetooth and turns off the tubes. The Bluetooth and auxiliary has to be selected manually. The power brick seems okay, doesn't seem to get hot. Then again, I haven't been running them at 50 watts. The Bernard plugs are okay, RCA is okay. Bluetooth mostly has been okay. I found if you have more than one device connected, which is possible, it causes issues where you get occasional dropout. It comes and goes. With a single device connected, I don't know if it's my device. I've not seen it on other devices. Sometimes sound drops for like a few milliseconds. I don't really play it with Bluetooth. I use the auxiliary or RCA. I've tested it using the headphone socket, using some decent Sony headphones. Does feel or sound quality wise just as good compared to say plugging into my Denon. Obviously there's a lot more EQ settings I can do on the Denon. It's a good amp to play around with, mess around with, and the main reason I got it is just to have it by my computer, because my computer speaker's broken. I thought I'll give this a go. So I think this is worth every penny. Hopefully it lasts. Looking at some of the reviews, people have had problems with them, but then again, it is cheap. You get what you pay for at the end of the day. These tubes I believe are Chinese, so they're not any NOS stock of any type. They are the 6J4s.